Hello, I'm the Brit.
I'm the wife.
This is our Polish life. We moved from the UK to Poland 6 months ago.
Just over 6 months ago.
And we've had the best 2 weeks ever in Poland.
We probably have done more than over the last few months altogether. Like closing the cases that have been going on for a long time, registering the car, going to places, finishing off one of our investment properties, finding tenants. It's just been brilliant.
I think it takes time to settle in. When you move to a new country, it takes time to settle in. And I'm lucky because Aga's here, and Aga lived in Poland until she was 18 and then was in the UK for 23 years. So she knows the language and she knows you don't know all the infrastructure yet because it's changed a lot since you've been away. But
I've never had to do the grown-up stuff.
No.
Like, I had my mum and dad doing it all until I was 18.
And now you're doing a proper grown-up stuff in a new country, or kind of new country, with a new life and a British husband, 2 kids that were born in England who didn't speak the language when they come here. And we're starting to thrive. It's starting to thrive.
And it's nice.
Been a hard slog, and I think if anyone is thinking to move abroad, you're going to have to be prepared to go through a rough time to start off with. Nothing's going to be easy. There's going to be lots of headaches. There's going to be changes in bureaucracy, changes in the way things are done. And you can't come in expecting things to be done exactly how they've always been done in your country you've grown up in. You know, I come here and I say to you sometimes, in England, we would do it this way. And we're not in England. It's very different here in Poland. You know, you can't be doing that. And, you know, I would kind of know how to bend the rules in England to make them fit and, you know, work out a faster route. Here, I don't know how to bend the rules. And it actually seems quite hard in some ways to bend the rules, depending on who you meet.
That's a funny one because some things are really easy to be bent and some things are just impossible. I
think there's a difference between the older and the younger generation in office. And if you meet someone from the younger generation, I don't want to stereotype everybody, but in our experience, the younger generation seem more capable to get things done quicker, where the older ones seem we want to dot the I, cross the T.
I think it all depends on the person that you're speaking to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we met young people that ran absolute assholes and they were really like thorough and they have to show you this is the system, this is the process that we have to follow. But we also dealt with middle-aged women sitting in the offices who were miserable cows, really, really difficult to deal with. But then we also had middle-aged people who were really helpful and young people who were really helpful.
So maybe I've just misread that situation because you do most of the talking, you do most of the negotiating. I just sit there looking pretty.
You don't. And it annoys the hell out of me most of the time because there's things that you used to deal with. And I don't like paperwork. I don't like going to the offices and talking to people. You've always been a better talker than I am.
But I've started to now take a little bit of control, you know,
and it's lovely.
Yeah, it's good for me as well. And it'll be good for you as well when you go abroad, especially if you're the non-Polish speaking partner. You will find yourself quite lost. You'll find yourself trying to guess everything that's going on, and quite often when we guess we misread the situations, and maybe I've misread the situation there completely with how people are helpful and not. But you have to think of a way of trying to get some control and take the lead, if you like, especially I think if you are the man, if you are the person that's used to doing the negotiations and dealing with the builders and stuff like that. So I've started to find, you know, okay, we've got a builder now that we've got a good relationship with. I'm talking about Michał at the moment, where he's a really nice guy and I like him, and he always tries to include me in the conversations when he comes around.
Even though he doesn't speak any English.
English. And we've just had a tenant move in to our first development property where the lady speaks a little bit of English and the man speaks really great English.
It's just been amazing to have tenants like that.
Yeah, it's been fantastic because he and I can communicate really easily. And then what I decided to do was, okay, he's asking me if Michal can do this. Let me just text Michal and let me just use the Google Translate. And it's a little bit longer winded, but it works and it takes the pressure off of you as well. And it makes me feel a bit more worthwhile.
And it's a good practice for you as well, trying to communicate and trying to find out how to say things and how to talk to people.
Yeah, and this week, I text Michal and I wasn't 100% sure if he'd understand it, but he come back, I copied his text, I put it into Translate, it come back, he's in Gdansk, he can't quite do what I'm asking to do, but he's going to send somebody else around there, which he did.
He did a really good job.
Sent a message to the tenants, they're going to be around in half an hour, they went round, they did the job. And everyone was happy, and you was happy. You didn't really have to get involved.
I went shopping. I went to Homla, and I come back and it's like, it's all done.
So actually, I was the only one who wasn't happy because you had time to go to Homla and spend the money, whereas before you'd have been indoors not spending the money, sorting all that out.
Yeah, but we needed to have things that I bought.
Obviously, we needed to have the things
spent.
she bought. Money well spent.
Yes.
But it has just started to click into place, and I think with me as well, I'm really busy now. I don't have so much free time. I've taken on clients that I'm coaching, they're slotting into the diary. I've got a couple of students that I'm teaching English. We're doing all this social media stuff. It's going really well, and I think from a sense of personal pride and development, I need that to feel like a man. So to have money coming in, busy, work, which I've always liked to do, in another country where I don't speak the language, I'm incredibly proud of that.
Yeah, and I think with you, your secondary love language is words of affirmation. So when you tick off the boxes and you have them little achievements and people say to you how well you've done, it makes you feel good.
And I've also got that in me that I love to prove people wrong. A lot of people said, why are you going there? You'll never make it work. You don't speak the language. You're going to struggle. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do this. And we have literally done everything that people said we couldn't. People told us their houses we bought was a terrible investment. We had a queue, literally a queue of people wanting. We've even rented the second one. We haven't started building it yet. Yeah. People said we'd struggle for money. It's taken time, but it's just clicked. But here's the thing, you just have to sometimes switch off to people and you have to just put these negative comments in the back of your head and think just because they don't see themselves doing it doesn't mean you can't do it, we can't do it. So we're very good at that. We can cut people off and stop having that negativity come in and just go again and keep going. And if you do this as well at home, you just keep going, you get the negativity out and you keep trying, sooner or later things will fall into place.
People will always have opinions, always. We've got opinions as well.
Of course.
But you don't have to agree with your opinions. You can accept it, but...
Absolutely, and you can use it. People say like your ego isn't your amigo, but it can be if you use it in the right way. If you actually take that little bit of they're doubting me, I'm going to actually use that for good, and I'm going to energize myself to make these calls, do this work, get this thing done. Then you can do it and you can use it. And with our kids, everyone said. You got slagged off a lot, didn't you? You really did for not teaching them Polish and bringing kids into Poland without knowing the language. Our Lucy comes second in a speaking competition in Polish.
I think rather than just the speaking competition in Poland, what really got into me that within, 4 months of being in that school, September, October, November, December, she had enough courage and confidence to put her hand up and to take part in the competition amongst all the Polish children.
That must have been such a big thing, wasn't it? Because they're asking for people to volunteer to go up and speak. And our little English-born kid who knew no Polish whatsoever 6 months ago puts a hand up, and the school was shocked, wasn't they?
The school teacher, the head teacher was really like,
she's
whoa.
like, Lucy's put a hand up.
that Lucy?
She didn't speak a word when she walked in, and we wasn't there, unfortunately. I'd love to have seen it, I really would have. But Lucy's bold to the front, and she's give this speech, and she's talked, and she won second place, and I think that was just amazing.
She's so proud of herself, isn't she?
She is.
She really is.
We was out and I was shopping and I had Lucy with me, and the lady's trying to talk to me, and Lucy just took over the conversation.
And she goes, mój tata nie mówi po polsku, ze mną musi pani rozmawiać.
And all of a sudden the woman's looked at her and thought, oh,
And they're having a full-on
this
conversation.
kid can speak Polish. And they're having a conversation. And I'm stepping back just watching this in awe. I'm just so proud of her. Just absolutely just taking it all in and seeing her communicate with this stranger in the shop, helping her dad out in perfect Polish, what seemed perfect to me. The pronunciations, the R's
so
was
nice.
rolled. It just went, it was just a beautiful conversation. So
Then that brings a thought to me, because one of the most common questions we have been asked is the kids, how do they settle? How will they blend into this new life, new tradition, new language and stuff? Kids are like sponges, aren't they?
They are.
As long as I think they need to have that sense of safety. They need to feel safe in the environment that they're in.
they need to be encouraged.
And they need to be encouraged, they need to be praised, they need to feel loved, they need to be given time as well. I think the little kids, like Luki, he was 3 when we moved in here, they don't really have the understanding of what love is. To them, the time that you give
It's
them,
the time, yeah.
the fun that you have with them, that makes them feel loved. And they both are back to what they were in England. They were very popular in England. I mean, Lucy had a little trail of little girls following her. When she wasn't at school, the other kids didn't want to go to school.
No, that's like Lucy's not at school, I don't be at school.
Yeah, and you know what? I just find it amazing because she has formed an amazing relationship with a little girl, Kennedy. They've been going to the same nursery
In England,
She's in England, Lucy's in Poland. And Kennedy phones her every Sunday. They've got about 2 hours conversation when they catch up on what's been happening at school, what's been happening outside, showing the snow, showing the rooms and everything. It's just wonderful.
And Lucy tries to teach Kennedy a few Polish words.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely. It's really nice. And I think it's a testament to her popularity that the kids want to stay in contact with her and be around her. And they want to come out in March, I think, don't they? May and see us, which may or not happen. But for them here in Poland's given us that time with them, I think, and we've got more time with them, and we are encouraging them. And when they fail, we're not berating them, we're not telling them that's wrong. It's like, okay, how can we do it better? How can you make that better? How can you improve that? And we let them think about it and talk and work it out themselves. And so far, that philosophy has worked really well.
Yeah, they've gone through stages. It's not been easy.
No, nothing's easy,
Yeah,
is it?
remember when we moved in here, our little boy Luke, he turned 4 last week. He was going through this whinging period because he was the youngest one. All of a sudden, everybody's around. We were living with my mom and dad for about 3 months. My brother wasn't there, so he was given whatever he wanted. And when he wasn't given what he wanted, he would just scream and he would whinge and he would cry and he would kick. And I think we dealt with it pretty well because it stopped. Have you noticed how?
Yeah, it has stopped. And you have to be patient because you have to understand you've got younger kids. It's so new to them. So new. There's all these new people around, new environment, new school. They're trying to guess the language. They're trying to work out what people are saying. They haven't got a clue, And apart from us speaking to them in English in the early days, they couldn't understand anything.
No.
So it's no wonder they kicked off a little bit and changed a little bit. It will change you. It will change you. You can't help come to another country and not change. Luke and Lucy have changed. Aga's brothers noticed. We haven't noticed it so much because we're with Luke a lot, but Aga's brothers noticed Luke's voice is
Accent,
changing,
yeah.
his accent's changing, his British accent is
English
kind
is
of
not
going.
so English now.
Yeah.
It's a bit, oh.
And it's really strange. It is strange, but you have to go with it. If you want to make a life in a new country, you got to accept this. I can't be sitting here thinking, I only want him to speak English. I only want him to speak, both of them, perfect English as I do with my accent. I've got to accept, as they grow up, they're going to speak English, but with a Polish accent. It's got to happen. Can't not happen, I don't think, because we're in Poland and they're around Polish people, 99% of the time. Well, I'm the only English person they're around.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it now, isn't it? And it's funny, actually, when we do meet people, we met a couple of people recently, a guy called Regan in a play
so now you
centre.
were in the kingdom.
Oh, yeah. And he was English, or he's English, I should say. And Luke and Lucy, Daddy, that man speaks English. And they were so amazed that there was someone that spoke like really good English. It was so funny. So England has become a kind of a novelty to them now.
Yeah.
And Poland has become their home.
Yeah.
And when they see someone from England, it's just like, oh, that's funny. They speak English like we do. It's really strange. But from my point of view, there's no point in me getting upset about that. I need to be proud of that. I need to be really happy with that, and I am. And now, for me, it's got to be me following them. I always knew they'd learn quicker than me. I knew that because they're so young, they're sponges, they're at school. And they're at school for a long day and they're talking Polish all day. It's naturally easier for them.
I think the difference is around Polish people speaking Polish only to them every single day. You're not.
No, I'm not, no.
You work from home. You still type your emails in English, sometimes translated into Polish. You don't have the conversations with people. And I'm lucky for you. When you see people, when we see friends, they only want to speak English. They want to practice their English.
Yeah, my clients are online, so the coaching clients I take, they're English. Or, oddly enough, I got a couple who are Polish, but they was born in Poland, moved to England, and speak perfect English. So, and that's quite ironic, but. They're online. I'm talking to them in English all day. I'm doing these videos in English. We're communicating in English. When the kids come home, we're in English. And when I see Polish people, they want to communicate in English.
They want to speak Polish.
The best people for me to hang out with, really, if I could, the Polish people that don't speak English, because then we've got to force that conversation. Yeah. But I'm not really the kind. I don't want to go out and be away from you or the kids. Pubs and things like that.
There's no pubs in here.
No, there isn't, is there? But we've got to try and work that out. And whether or not, I'm using the Pingo app, which is good. I just bought a book on the language, which is really good. Yeah, the only criticism with that book is it doesn't have the phonics in it. It tells you how to. It writes the word down. But the reading it and pronouncing it are two totally different things. So if it could have had the phonics, but I'll need your help with that. And maybe if I'm not picking it up, we've got to think about a tutor or something.
Why have you got my hairband on your wrist?
This is Lucy's hairband. She gave it to me and she said, Daddy, can you take it home? I got a
that's so
hairband there and I
sweet.
put it there so I didn't lose it. Yeah, so I just dropped her off to school this morning. And you know what? They walk into that school, just their heads up high. They walk
Everybody
through,
knows
Dzień
them
dobry,
now.
Dzień dobry.
Yeah.
Everyone knows them. And it's just beautiful. It really is. It's turning into be a lovely life. And these last 2 weeks have just been the best weeks we've had in the 6 months we've been here. The house we finished, tenants moved in there, the most beautiful
so
tenants.
Oh, they're just
lovely.
wonderful.
Yeah, a Polish couple, they're just lovely.
They're so grateful for the house as well. They're so appreciative.
Yeah,
And
we put a lot of effort into it. It's a lovely house.
I got really emotional when we were cleaning it and getting it ready because it's like, oh, that's our first little baby and it's ready to go.
It's ready to go. The builder's going to be finished upstairs, hopefully in 2 weeks, so that we'll have a lovely top half of the house all finished. Then he's going to go to Gdansk and he's going to start building that property for us there. So that's underway. I'm taking on clients, which is really good. We're getting companies contact us to work with us through social media, which is really good. There's so many options in this world of ours now because of technology and and the way we live, there's no excuse not to go abroad and not make it work. But you just got to be prepared to put the work in.
And the time in.
Yeah.
And not to be knocked down because it doesn't work straight away. You just have to keep going.
You have to understand people's mentalities abroad are going to be different to yours, and people are going to say to you, not out of spitefulness, not out of their nasty
Sometimes
people.
they want to protect
They
you.
just want to protect you. They want to say to you, that's a bad investment, don't buy it, because in their minds, they don't want you to lose money. They don't want you to feel like you're a failure or something like that. And sometimes it's because they can't do it themselves. They can't see it happening. So you have to understand people aren't usually nasty. They just want to protect you. They just want to help you out. But sometimes by doing that, they can hinder you. And you have to have that belief in yourself.
Follow your guts. I had this conversation with my mom and dad. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? We had naysayers around us ever since we got together.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good idea for us to be together. It was a terrible idea for us to move away from London. It was a bad idea to have the first baby.
Yeah.
We lost that baby when I was pregnant. Then we wanted to have another baby. Why would you go for it again? You just had a miscarriage. Then we had Lucy. Lucy was just wonderful. We decided to go and have a boy. We had people that we talk to and they look in your face, they're really nice and they say, yeah, that's such a good idea. Behind your back, they go and they slag you off and say, oh, they want to have another one. They can't even look after this one because we've always been working. I mean, I didn't have a single day of maternity leave when Lucy was born and Luke was born. It was literally coming back from the hospital, laptop, back to work. So we had to have help with Luke, with Lucy and stuff. When we decided to come to Poland, oh my goodness, what were they saying? Oh,
you're crazy.
Crazy. Why would you leave this lovely little town and stuff? You're never gonna make it. That's just a terrible idea. You're gonna be back within 6 months. When we decided to sell the house, oh my goodness, why are you doing it? You've got the house by the sea, by the beach. It's so lovely. We wanted to bring the car over. No, do not bring the car over. Honestly, it's never gonna be registered or anything like that. It's just non-stop, but you have to follow your gut feeling. Don't take on so much of what people say because it will put you down. And I think it put us down a lot of times because when we were here, I constantly heard about job. You need to go and get a job. You've got the savings and stuff, but the money goes down so quickly and then you have no money to live on.
But it is people trying to protect you predominantly, and you do have to have self-belief. But I think when you go abroad, you have to have an even deeper level of self-belief. You really do. You know, when you're in your comfort zone. Me in the UK, I'm in my comfort zone. I know the area, I know the people, I know the networking groups, I know the language, I know how the system works. I can believe I can be successful, but we're talking about this. I can believe I can be successful, but maybe don't always push myself so much because it's easy. Things come to you a little bit easier. When we go abroad, you have to really believe you can be successful because nothing's going to be easy, but it will push you. I think it pushed me more here.
You see, that's a really interesting outlook on the thing because I think when we were in England, you had this imposter syndrome that would kick in from time to time. And I actually think that you've got a lot more confidence being in Poland without the language, without anything.
I think you're right in some respects, but I think it's just that level of, if I don't make it work here, it's going to end. We won't be able to live here, if I don't make an income, and I will feel like a failure. And I don't want to run back to England with the tail between my legs and saying I couldn't make it work. So I think not knowing the language and only really having one area to channel my effort into has helped me a lot. Whereas in England, there was so much opportunity. I could go and do this, I could go and do that, I could go and do this. And sometimes I would find that sort of like a rabbit in headlights. I don't know what way to go. Here, okay, how am I going to make money? It has to be social media, it has to be coaching. That's it, really. And, you know, the properties you're
I love
pretty
it
much
because
dealing
we
with.
used to have a lot of clashes over
Yeah,
going this way, that
yeah,
way, this way,
precisely,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah. My attention isn't the best in the world. I will literally flip from one thing to another, and sometimes finish things or start things before they're finished, and go on and, you know, never complete things. But here I don't have that luxury, really, because the opportunities are a lot less. Because I don't speak the language, so I can't go and get a job, I can't go and work for this person, I can't go and consult in this business, I can't do that. So what do? Okay, I can do this, let's just focus on that. And I think that's helped me, actually. And because I've been focusing just on really two things. The properties I don't really focus on too much, because you focus on that more. I'll advise you and help you, but you do most of that. So what can I focus on? I can focus on social media, I can focus on getting coaching clients. And that's what I've done. And because I've been focusing, I got the coaching clients. The social media is growing. We're getting paid for it. It's incredible. I would never have thought we'd come to a different country and build a social media channel that's doing so well. But it is. It's really doing well. And long may it continue, because we enjoy it. And long may this life in Poland continue. And if you guys are listening to this and you want to go abroad and you want to make a change in your life, you gotta think about, you know, what you're going to do when you go, how you're going to do it. You got to go with an unwavered self-belief. You're going to make it work, and nothing's going to stop you. And we burnt our bridges, didn't we? We did sell our house by the sea because we didn't want that safety net of a property to run back to if we didn't make it work. Now, I'm not suggesting that's right for everybody, but I think for us, it was the right thing to do. We don't have that safety net. We're here. We've got nowhere to go. It's sink or swim. And so far, we've been swimming. We've been treading water for 6 months to a certain extent, and we've just been ticking over. But the last 2 weeks have been our best weeks. We've got income now coming in from the house we've rented. We've got income coming in from coaching clients. We've got income from social media. We've got a few more projects that we'll finish over the next probably 6 months. And then we'll look at it again, ascertain where we are, and you know, work out what we're going to do from there, I guess. But I think when we get to that stage, life will be a little simpler. It won't be as hectic. We'll be able to enjoy a lot more. We'll be able to go out a lot more, experience Poland a lot more, and have that real great quality of life we moved here
Which
for.
we wanted.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen just like that.
No.
It's hard work. You've got to keep going.
But it's
You've got to keep
possible.
trying, and it is possible. And you know, you can do it. You
Once
really
you've got
can.
it in your head, you can have it in your hand.
Yeah,
You just need
absolutely.
to know what you want from life.
And
Have that clarity.
And if people want more help, you know, we post on Facebook a lot now, don't we? We just started a Facebook page which is @LeeLearnsPolish. You go to Facebook and join that, because we put a lot of written content in there as well about our life, and document things and post things in there that can be really helpful to people. And if you've got questions, just comment below, just make a comment, and we'll always try to come back to you and answer personally. It's just us, isn't it? And we'll answer personally and honestly to help you with your move abroad.
Without sugarcoating.
Without sugarcoating.
No filter.
No. But we promise this, we won't be naysayers. We won't be saying, no, you can't do it. No, that's wrong.
We will be asking you, how can you make it happen?
How can you make it happen? What do you need to do to make it happen? These are the questions you have to think
Yes.
about. And if you start thinking along them lines, you can make a life in Poland a brilliant life. Take care.